Hi everyone, I'm home. So, I am now home for summer break and I'm super bored. But I was sitting here thinking of a couple of different video ideas, and I think today I'm going to do a book review video. Cause I love reading, and I feel like I don't but do have a very diverse genres that I read. But let's go take a look. Okay, so this is my bookshelf of books that let's move this out of the way. So these are all kind of like poetry, and these are books that I've read or have started reading and I've gotten pretty far in. These are my mangas. I only have Tokyo Ghoul. I want to get more, but unfortunately if I buy mangas, it's for the aesthetic of it. Down here, these are a lot of my self-help books. Not that one, but and some of these are textbooks too. These are ones that I need to read and what I really want to get into, except for this series right here. This is a really good series. But let's get started on this book review. Okay, so we're gonna review some of the books that I have read in my collection. So I have tons of books, but I actually haven't read all of them. A lot of them are still pending. Don't mind my messy bed. I did not do it this morning. But yeah, so we're just gonna get started right away. So I'll start off with some of the poetry books that I've read, because I read a lot of poetry books during like my healing phase. Yeah, so these are all of the ones that I read that I will review for you guys. Okay, I'll tell you which ones my favorite ones and which ones I might not have cared for at the time, or ones that I might not care for now. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the infamous Milk and Honey by Rupi. I just don't know how to say her last name. I really don't want to butcher it. But yeah, Milk and Honey. I remember when I got this, I actually got it taken away by my mom, because it talks about her experiences when she grows up, and so a lot of them are heavy topics, and she does her own illustrations in them, and they're very suggestive illustrations. Let me see. Oh, I'm just kidding. They're actually NSFW illustrations, but I honestly think that it's super good. I will say at the time when I bought it, I was 16, so maybe I shouldn't have been like picking this book up and looking at the illustrations and reading it, but it was still a good book nonetheless. I did get it back from my mom, and I actually really do like this book, and it's very insightful. She does open up a lot about her experiences, how she got through them, and valuing what's important in her life. Yeah, I recommend it 100%. And her other book, The Sun and Her Flowers, I also really like this one. This one does talk about her experiences as well. Personally, I like this one a lot more because it's more like loving in a sense. Like, it actually, what is it? This is like, if I want to put it, read this one first and then read this one, because this one is kind of like the after effects, in my opinion. And I also just think that she does a lot of healing through this one. Yeah, it has been a long time since I've read those two. I think I finished them way back in high school, and let's just keep in mind I've been in college for what will now be my sixth year. So maybe I read those roughly about like 8 years ago. Okay, self-love poetry. This one is pretty good. I mean, the title kind of says exactly what it is. My only thing is that it's about self-love. It talks about, like, you know, before the healing process to starting the healing process to a little bit after, I'm pretty sure. Let me read these last couple of days. Yeah. Talks about kind of the whole process of healing and how to love yourself as a person again. I definitely think this book was really good. It was given to me by my aunt. This is a really good book that was given to me, I think, during the time I was going through a breakup that made me feel very insecure, very unconfident as a person. Right. I'll save the best one, my favorite one, for last. So, Bloom for Yourself. This one, again, is another self-love book. I made a couple of notes. It's like these purple marks, but I stopped making those purple marks and I started, I think I stopped making marks in general. I guess I didn't want to ruin my books, my poetry books. But, this one kind of talks about, like, again, self-love, implementing that seed into yourself and blooming from within. That's how I want to put it. I really like this one. I just feel like there wasn't a lot for me to get out of it, though. Mainly because I have a lot of, like, self-love poetry books. So, yeah, it just didn't feel much different. I guess relating it to flowers was definitely a little different. Like, this one related to flowers a lot more compared to this one, even though it has, like, flowers as the cover page. But this one specifically relates to healing yourself as if, like, you're a flower, putting yourself back in a seed and then blooming. So, I also finished this one. It's called Light Filters In by Caroline Kaufman. So, I am going to be very, very honest. I actually don't remember when I finished this and what is in it. So I'm, like, flipping through the pages. I'm trying to get, like, glimpse of, like, some of these poems and, like, remember what it is that it's about. This one kind of talks about, like, life. And yeah, this one talks a lot more about, like, life and, like, the feelings that she went through, the love that she faced. And I definitely think it's a good book. I think it talks about a little bit about herself as an author. But I don't know, nothing very notable to me. I definitely picked it up because it was hardcover. But yeah, otherwise, nothing very notable. But I still liked it. I read it all the way through. Okay. Atticus. But what is it? The author is Atticus. The Truth About Magic is the title of this poetry book. I love this one so much. So, it's essentially about love. Okay? It's about love, seeing it in the lens of magic and relating how love is magic. And I personally just love it so much. It's a lot, not too many pages are about self-love, maybe like a couple pages here and there, but all of it is strictly love and how much the author loves his person and how much this person means to them. So, I loved reading it. So, yeah. I also just kind of like romance books too, so a little bit of a sucker for that. Now, my favorite one, Watering the Soul. I need to get her other books, okay? Courtney Pepperdell. Love it. I love it. Okay, so this one was probably my most recent poetry read, and I read this one maybe about, like, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. I got this after I got into my most current relationship, and I absolutely just love the hell out of it. As you can see, like I would go back and read it again. And this one talks about like love and kind of like the riskiness of what love is, and like also loving yourself, loving the journey in yourself. I definitely think it spoke a lot to me, versus some of these other self-love books. I definitely think it might have just been the time when I had received those books compared to this one. The time when I received those books, I was in my man hater, I don't care about anyone else but me, and it's just me and myself in this world. And then when I got this book, I was clearly in a healthier relationship, and now it was like kind of settling down into my healing phase, and was kind of like, I'm comfortable with myself now, confident in myself. I can believe I can do all these big things. And so this book spoke to me in different ways. I recommend it for everyone, because it definitely tells you about being comfortable in your own silence, in your own skin, and like just knowing that you have to forgive yourself. Like, I definitely think it's a lot more for the empaths in this, and if you're a lot more empathetic to your own feelings, read this one. Or even empathetic to other people's feelings. Like, this one's just so good. Like, I cried, actually. I cried reading a couple of these pages, and like I think it just speaks a lot to the soul. Watering the soul. But I'm gonna get her other ones. I swear. When I get paid next week, I'm gonna go get the other ones, because I love this book, and she has others. And like, that's saying something, because I have so many of these self-love poetry books, and none of them have stuck out to me the same way that Watering the Soul has. So put that as you will, okay? Put that as you will. Take that information as you will. Okay, now let's get into my more books. My books, not like poetry books. Okay, so this is one of my favorites, The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I do wonder if she has other books, because I do want to read them. I do like her writing style. It's very, I want to say, it's very mysterious in the way that she writes, and it builds the suspense, and also like the way that she describes things too. So, basically, just give a little bit of a rundown of this book. It follows the story of a single mother and her daughter. They're basically house hopping. They don't have a secure place to live, but there's a reason for that, and I won't spoil it. The daughter's grandmother, so the mom's mom, she's kind of like the root of it all. I would also suggest this book to people who really like the Grimm Brothers series, like, not series, their fairy tales, because it talks about fairy tales in here. Not exactly the Grimm Brothers, I don't believe. Definitely a different way. The title of the book is one of the key parts to the plot. I will tell you that. But yeah, very fantasy, storytelling. You're into the Grimm Brothers, read this one. It's very good. But yeah, I would give this a really good rating. I want to say, like, at the time that I read it, a 10 out of 10. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to review is the series that I'm currently finishing. So this is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber, and it's my favorite series ever. And I am normally not like someone who goes off for series, but I actually really love this. It follows a girl who lost both of her parents, and she kind of goes into like this church thing. She follows a she kind of sends prayers to a legend. They're called legends in the book, and that's how the whole story starts. And it follows like romance, trauma, revealing of her past, her mother's past, different curses. It's a very magical fantasy-based world. I personally really love it. I don't know if this is considered dark fantasy or dark romance, but I love it, and I love it so much. The first book was really good. It kind of like builds the plot and everything. The ending like leaves you wanting for more. If you guys can see some of like the highlights I did. The second book, this was really angsty, and like I have like tons and tons of like markings in here. I love the second book. The third book is a little bit slower. There are a couple highlights that I've done. It's a little bit slower though, just following the events of the second book. And I don't know, I know it gets good at the end. I will tell you that. I know it gets good at the end because everyone loved this series so much that Stephanie Garber came out with like a sequel to it, kind of like wrapping up the series. And I cannot wait to read that after I finish this series. But I also want her Caraval series. So yeah, I really like her writing. I just like the way that she portrays her characters, how they develop, and the way that she writes her scenes. Goodness. But yeah, it seems like a lot of the books I read are very like fantasy and magic, or a lot of poetry. Those are just the books that I tend to gravitate towards because that's my kind of genre that I love. But I have this one historical fiction book. It's called Lovely War, and I made a dent in it, surprisingly. I'm definitely gonna go back and reread it because I don't know anything that happened in the book. I didn't even know I picked it up to read it, but the timeline is World War II, and it follows like couples that have their loved ones are in the war. So that's a little bit of a different read. Another different one is Fade Away. This one is a little bit more realistic. It follows the events of a high school girl whose best friend just passed away, and she's kind of she's grieving, and there's a lot of regret, guilt, sadness. There are like periods of depression. She does go to therapy and things like that. And so I also found it very similar to like that one Jenna Ortega film that was on Netflix for a little bit. It was a movie. It had Maddie Ziegler and Jenna Ortega as the main characters, and it was following the events of like a school shooting. So I just thought that was really interesting. Another one that's a little bit different in my collection is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I don't think there's any romance in here, if I'm honest. I just think it's all mystery, like true crime, which is what really intrigued me when I first picked it up and I started reading it. I also heard that the author is really good and he makes really good stories, so I'm kind of excited to reread it. I did touch it a little bit, and I reread it like maybe 2 times. This will be my 3rd time rereading it, just because it gets kind of repetitive, but that's the whole plot line. It's like time traveling back to before this lady gets killed, trying to figure out who's killing her, all these steps. So I think that would just be really cool to actually read all the way through. I do have a couple Greek mythology books here, and I do very like Greek mythology, but funny enough, I have never read anything regarding Greek mythology. Even I've never read the Percy Jackson series. I'll give you that. But I watched all the movies. I'll also give you that. But I just can't wait to read a couple of these books that my friend gave me, like The Song of Achilles. I know that one's a very popular one, so I can't wait to read it. And then The Lies We Sing to the Sea. I'm excited to read that one too. So, but I'm gonna finish the 3rd book first. Try to finish the series before I start something new. Otherwise, it's just all gonna be projects and projects over and over again. I'm going to reread books over and over again. But yeah, that is everything that I have read from my book collection. I read Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul is pretty cool. But I did only read like the first 6 volumes. So I would want to go back and finish it, but we'll see where that plays out. But if you guys have any recommendations, you guys can put it down in the comments. Recommend me anything. I'm not sure if I'll read everything, but I'll try to get around to it. Another series that I really want is Before the Coffee Goes Cold. That series, I really want to buy the whole thing and just read it. So, yeah. If anyone wants to buy me the whole series, they can. Thanks. But there's also this other book called The Alchemist by something Yu, like YU. That's her last name. Don't remember the author's first name. But I did have a dream about it. So I think that's my sign to go get it. I didn't want to buy it because I was like, oh, it's kind of a lot of money. Or it's like, I'm not sure if it's something that I'm going to like. But I think I'm going to like it. If I like had a dream about it, I think I'm going to like it a lot. So yeah. There's a bunch of self-help books that I've also read. If you guys want a review on that, you guys can definitely tell me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do a review on them just because they're kind of boring. It's not much to talk about with them. Well, there's a lot to talk about, but not anything that I want to put in this book review. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave any comments down below about books you want me to read and get into, different series that you guys like, maybe if there's a genre you guys want me to try. Yeah, bye.